Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Sophia Coffee Chat. And this morning, we are chatting with some wonderful guests from the Broward Center for the Performing Arts. My name is Dee Goldstein, and I'm the Director of Development for Sophia. For those of you who don't know what Sophia is a think and act tank that empowers people as they age. We are a nonprofit organization that provides social services for older adults, like teaching older adults how to use technology, providing caregiver respite, and lots more that you can find out about on our website. On the think side, we are a think tank, and we bring people to the table to talk about important issues that come together and help create thriving communities. Every other week, we do coffee chat live on Facebook, and we talk to people and organizations who are making an impact on seniors in our community. I am very excited to introduce Gustavo Padrino and Bonnie Repetti from the Broward Center for the Performing Arts. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Dee. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for joining me. So most people will know Broward Center for the Performing Arts. You guys brought a lot of amazing shows to Broward County. I know that I've enjoyed watching ballets and different performances there. But since COVID hit, obviously, bringing tons of people together in a theater for a performance is not something that we're able to do. So Gustavo, can you give me a little bit of an update about what the Broward Center has been doing over the last few months?
Absolutely, Dee. And again, thank you so much for having us today. Like you said, when this pandemic started, Broward Center was the first one to close and will likely be the last ones to open. And most people sometimes would think that because our stage light is off and our curtains are down, there's nothing happening at the Broward Center. But reality is that Broward Center has been working nonstop since the pandemic started. We knew as soon as everything started that mental health was going to be a big issue for our community, and arts were going to be a very big part of it. So the first thing we did right away was to adapt our programs and develop our education at home, where families could, get different access to sorts of entertainments, classes for all ages, that they could do at home, and they're all free. You could see some Broadway chatbacks with Broadway stars. You can also get that entertainment part. You can do some sing-alongs, and you can see our Spotlights youth ensemble sing live. So we provided a wide range of activities that everyone could enjoy at home from our Facebook page. But on top of that, we developed our summer camp virtually and Broadway intensive for the summer. And just in our session 1 and 2, we were able to serve over 200 kids with these programs. Talk about parents that, that are working at home and don't have anything for their kids. We were able to accommodate them in a way that, they would have their breakout rooms, so they would have their one-on-one with teachers, and that way they could also see their growth. And on top of that, senior community is very important to us, with our partners from Slowburn Theater Company. They developed the Elder Arts program. So before the pandemic, we were able to provide workshops for senior citizens to come by, learn more about the show, and do a moving activity that relates to the show. We did it with Christmas Story, we did it with Ragtime. And because Footloose got canceled, basically, we developed a virtual workshop where everyone could have like a dance session with one of the teaching artists. You could do a sing-along of the musical, and at the same time you also have a trivia, so you can play around with your friends, like who knows more about the Broadway show, who knows more about the movie, all compiled in different videos that I'm happy to share with your constituents. And the other thing that we also realized was our special needs community, because most people sometimes forget about them. So we actually partner with some of our community partners like the UMNSU Center for Autism and Related Disabilities, and to provide an all abilities event, that though they were targeted to the special needs community, they were open for everyone. Because again, the main point of the arts and music is to bring everyone together. So through this collaboration, we were able to bring local artists that would provide a virtual interactive performance where everyone attending the virtual show would be part and play along with the show. like they would do an instrument at home, like do it yourself, and then they would be playing either a shaker or a sensory drum, and then we would spotlight them on the video so they could see everyone that was participating in the activity. And we also partnered up with Friendship Journey and Dylan's Wings of Change to provide a summer camp for over 50 special needs campers. So we provided 8 weeks of activities involving dancing, singing, puppets. You know, we brought musicians to perform live. We did craft, we did drawings, we did everything related to the arts. And beyond that point, we also thought about those that are in the front lines and those that are in need, you know, during this time. So when Broward Center closed, we had inventory in snacks and drinks and so many other things. So the first thing we thought is that we need to help our first line doctors. So we actually made donations to Cleveland Clinic with some snacks, with some drinks, and we provided some food. We actually gave over 400 turkey sandwiches to organizations like Kids in Distress, Women in Distress, Covenant House, because the main point that Broward Center focused was how do we continue to serve our community through the arts and, you know, in other ways. So as you can see, this is everything we have done so far in the summer, and we are still working right now on a road to recovery so that when the curtain rises, we're able to bring everyone back, because Broward Center not only is going to play a big role during this quarantine time, but our role in the financial recovery of the community will also be important, bringing people back into the theater, back to the restaurants, to the hotel, and just get our local economy working again.
That's amazing. You guys have been really busy these last couple of months. I think it's really incredible the breadth of services that you're able to provide to everyone in a community. And I remember growing up that I participated in musical theater summer camp in the summers, and it was a really formative experience. So it's wonderful that you are able to help kids, those with disabilities, as well as older adults. And I think we were talking about this the other day, that there's a very niche group that are older adults with disabilities that oftentimes can fall through the cracks. And it sounds like the arts have really been able to kind of unify the community. No matter who you are, you can participate in these programs at any level.
Absolutely,
really
you know,
amazing.
and it goes to say, you know, why it brings the question, why do the arts matter, you know? And I always tell my friends, you know, one of the first things in life we learn is through music. You know, when you learn your ABCs, you learn it by singing. You know, music just has the power to influence everything about us. You know, when we go to the gym or we are going on a run and we need some strength, you always see that everyone just listening to music. You know, when we're sad and we need hope, we turn to music. When we're happy and we listen to music, we sing, we dance. I mean, this is what the power of the arts has to influence everyone, and it's that thing that brings everyone together, which is my favorite thing. But let's not forget that art as an education tool is a very important tool as well, which is why education in the arts is a big part of our mission at the Broward Center.
That's right. And teaching children creative expression, how to communicate well, how to translate their feelings into speech, into performance, is really, really powerful. On the flip side of that, Bonnie, you work with Broward Center's volunteers. Can you tell me a little bit about what the volunteers are responsible for doing, you know, in the pre-COVID world? What was their role in the Broward Center?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. You can hear me okay?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So I am the director of the Volunteer Services Program at the Broward Center. And I am proud to say thank you, Gustavo, first of all, for sharing so much. That was a great recap of what we've been doing for several months. But I direct the Volunteer Services Program, which primarily consists of our ushers. So for anyone who's ever come to a show at the Broward Center, of course, you see a uniformed usher who will scan your ticket now, or used to rip your ticket in the old days. So our Broward Center ushers primarily, volunteers are primarily our usher program, which consists of 800 ushers, which is a very large group of people. So I like what Gustavo says. I just want to bounce back on that we are brought together because of our love for the arts, and the arts does so much to move us, but we really have created a community. And when you have such a massive volunteer program that has been together for so long, and people who have been with you since your doors open, you have created community, and I could go as far to say a family. So what we provide besides the arts is a place for us to share our love and to develop these special relationships that just enrich upon the years. So the volunteers primarily are responsible for ushering the show. So that means getting to the show a couple hours before the show begins. Signing in, every volunteer gets briefed what we call a queue time, which talks about what the show is going to be. You have to know the running time of the show, the intermission, all the details you need to know to best serve the patrons and how to safely get everyone in on time. And make sure they know how to manage the building. We have a very large center. We've had recent additions with Education Center and our ballroom, actually about 5-6 years ago, those additions. So our volunteers really are guides. They are the host and hostesses. We like to say they are the host and hostesses of the greatest party in town. Because when patrons come to the Broward Center, it's a happy thing. They're coming to have a great time. So we want to see our volunteers with a big smile. And we have really gone through a lot of workshops with them, make a difference, how they can make a difference, how our volunteers can go the extra mile. So we have a very proud, large program of volunteers. And beyond that, we talk about the meaning. This is a meaningful community this is a purposeful community of people, but the relationships that have developed, because we run our program, we have busy Broadway shows. Most of us are familiar with Broadway at the Broward Center that take us through a Tuesday through Sunday schedule. So we have people who regularly work each night of the week. So what happens is you really start to form bonds with this group of people you'll see every Tuesday, or you'll see them for 30 Tuesdays out of the year. So imagine that sort of camaraderie and that development just going on for years and years. And even people who've joined us for just 1 year will tell us about all the new friends they made. And when they come out to their Tuesday night shift or whatever shift it is, they have this familiarity. And then they start to get to know the patrons, the regular season ticket holders. So we really have such a beautiful community, but we're brought together because of the shows we put on the stage. So when the shows went dark, which, as we know, it was, I want to say March 12th was our final performance of Mean Girls. We were in the middle of a Broadway show, and we were at the height of season, which means we're all seeing each other a lot, and it's the meat of our season. We're honing our skills the best to our abilities. We're all set, and all of a sudden, just like everyone else in the world, everything had to stop. So when we were starting to work at home, there was just a call to action that we are not just the shows. And of course, how am I going to engage the community? And immediately we were fielding all the questions and all the feedback about having to close. And we really didn't have any information. So there was a lot of contact right in the beginning because everyone's connecting about what's going to happen and what we're going to be doing. And we have to stop the shows. And then about a week or so later, we had to sit together as a team. And to me, it was just like, okay, we are a community that needs to stay together. So why don't we do our queue time next month as a Zoom? So we'll invite all the Tuesday night people to sign on to a Zoom on Tuesday night when we would have had our next Broadway show scheduled. So we started to do engagement with our team through these Zoom calls. And we're really happy to say we've had 30 to 35 people join each Zoom when we're inviting a group of maybe 60. So whenever you get 50% of the core to do something, you feel fantastic.
You're doing something right. Now,
Yeah.
Bonnie, you had told me that about 50% of your volunteers are between the ages of 65 and 80, and 12% of your volunteers are 80 plus, which is incredible.
Yes.
So we're looking at
Yes.
62% of all of your volunteers who are older adults. And of course, I can say from my experience, that's one of the great things about coming to the Broward Center for a show, is that you have that amazing connection with an older adult usher right when you're coming in. And obviously there are challenges with keeping older adult volunteers engaged virtually, but we also know that this is a very special group. during especially this pandemic, they've had their challenges with social isolation. So
Yes,
in these
yes.
Zoom calls, what are the things that you're focusing on? What are some of these techniques that other organizations watching can take a note from to keep volunteers engaged?
Thank you. That's a great question. So what we've tried to do is center our activities around the arts because that's what brought us together. So Gustavo talked about a lot of the amazing programs that have been going on. So what we do is we frequently do email our volunteers. That's how we communicate with a lot of them. There's a small percentage that don't have email, so we do make the phone calls for them. So with Zoom, we've programmed things we feel they would like. We've programmed the spotlights, seeing the students perform. Spotlights is a student education program that was going virtually. So we have programmed and emailed them, hey, you might be interested in this. And then we sent them a Zoom link, and anyone who needed a little bit of a tutorial, we helped them with, to the best of our ability, to download Zoom. And we were very impressed to watch people sign on for the very first time and say, hey, it's my first Zoom, and try to help them get their camera going. You know, we just work through the process together. We are a family that's used to training and working with each other. So we fell into that mode sort of with our queue times. But the important thing was the heart of the organization is the relationships. So when I thought about, I was really happy to have a department like the volunteer department, because without the shows, we still are this cohesive group. And it was so important to have a regular way of connecting. So at least twice a week, there are emails that go out sharing cultural links, sharing some art, museums, just sharing anything we think they might be interested in. Some things come from fellow volunteers who say, hey, this was really cool. I saw this online. And then maybe a week later, we'll share it with everyone. So they have been part of the process too. What we've done too in the beginning before the Zoom calls, we were emailing and calling a lot of people, and we have a big spreadsheet. And we make sure if people have not joined a Zoom call or haven't been in touch by email, we'll give them a call and just check on them and see how they're doing. And that has been the most rewarding, to have the one-on-one conversations with people and see how they're managing their time. And a lot of our people are getting together with each other. They're making phone calls on the night they would have been volunteering together regularly. People are meeting up to take walks safely with masks 6 feet apart in their little communities. There's another volunteer group that was making food and dropping it off for each other. So we've heard about all the ways that they have continued to flourish with this relationship. But also I've sat there and talked with people who have been really depressed about what's going on. And, you know, we just sit and we talk about it. So just knowing that they still have this team of this group they belong to, even though we're not active in the theater, we're still active with communicating and with our engagement. I think that really means a lot. And we've had wonderful response of appreciation. So
That's amazing. And even in our chat, we have one of your volunteers, Anne Mihayu, and I apologize if I didn't pronounce
Mihai.
Mihai.
Hi,
Thank
Anne.
you. And she said, I love being an usher at the Broward Center. 2 exclamation points. So you know she really means it. And that is really wonderful, how even through hard times, even through challenges, even when there are technology barriers that exist, you know, it's still possible to create these important connections with volunteers and give them something to do that allows them to feel like they have an impact, like they're being meaningful. And as Gustavo mentioned, you know, the arts transcend everything. It's not just shows on a stage. The arts are how you express yourself. The arts are in museums that you can view virtually. The arts are through music that you can listen to and enjoy and share with others. So I think it's really incredible what the Broward Center has been doing. What's next for your volunteers in the Broward Center? I know that's a big question. There are still a lot of unknowns, but what are some of the things that we can look forward to, Gustavo, that are happening right now and are available to everyone in the community?
Absolutely. And just to expand a little bit on what Bonnie was mentioning, you know, one of the reasons the Broward Center is successful, you know, is because of our volunteers, you know, because the patrons, they don't see Bonnie, they don't see me, you know, they see your volunteers just working the shows and helping them, you know, and, you know, working on the sensory friendly shows and seeing how happy the volunteers are and how they help our special needs community, whether it's a wheelchair whether it's, just handing the shoulder, the arm. Like, they make our community feel welcome and safe and cared for. So that's something that we truly treasure. And in terms of, what's next, as I mentioned, the Broward Center, we are working on a road to recovery, because we are eventually going to go back open. And, one of the things that we continue to do is remain in contact with agents and the artists to make sure that the shows are going to happen, or if we have to reschedule. Right now, and this is open for everyone, we're starting with our fall classes. If you go to our website, you can find our fall classes. They're open for kids of all ages and adults as well. We are going to be doing improv. We're going to be doing classes of dancing. We're going to be doing classes of singing and everything regarding, the arts. Even for kids right now, we are even providing scholarships, and again, because we understand the situation many families are in. So your kid might actually be eligible even for a full tuition. So all that information can be found in our website for the fall classes. They start September 19, 14, I believe. All our information can be found in the website, but that's one of the things. First, we're going to start with our fall classes. Some of the events that we have been doing, the All Abilities event, we're going to continue to do so. We're going to partner with local artists, and we are going to promote them on social media. For everyone of all abilities are welcome to come listen to a virtual performance, and you can also be part of it by making your own instrument at home. Just have to keep it, keep up with our social media so you can find all that information. Slowburn is also doing more videos on elder arts, so that's another thing that is coming. If you like doing some activities, then that's another big opportunity that we'll be sharing for sure.
That's amazing. And Sophia has such a special relationship with the Broward Center. We honored the Broward Center CEO a couple years ago in our annual gala. We had this past year's gala at the Broward Center as well. And we will continue working together to bring you all of this great new content and supporting the programming that the Broward Center has to offer. For everyone who registered ahead of time, after this coffee chat is over, you'll be getting in your email some really great resources that Gustavo has put together about ways that you can get involved, no matter what group you're in, no matter what your interests, and free programming that's available through the Broward Center, as well as their fall classes that are already lined up. So there are tons of opportunities. And of course, if any older adult needs support in how to use technology to be able to connect with the services provided by the Broward Center, Sophia has the Tech Connect program that can help. So I want to thank Bonnie and I want to thank Gustavo for joining me today. If anybody still has questions, you can send them in the chat or you can email us. I am sending in the chat right now the link, if you have not pre-registered for this event, where you can find all of these resources that I spoke about before. Thank you so much for joining us for Coffee Chat. We'll be back in 2 weeks.
Thank you for all that you do.
Thank you so much, Dee. Thank
Great
you.
to be here.
It.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.